Hello everybody. Today I want to show you or explain you a little bit about the Destiny board, giving you some insight about the actual progression, about the unlocking on the Destiny board, and in the end I hope you're easy and say, finally I do understand how the Destiny board really works. For that, simply we just go into the Destiny board, of course, why not? And we have the Destiny board. So, let's get a little bit on the easier side of life and just imagine the Destiny board as some kind of forest. And in forest we have different trees growing. And for us it's the combat tree, the crafting tree, the farming tree, refining, gathering tree. But that doesn't matter, like we are going to take a closer look at the combat tree, but simply most of that what I'm going to show you in the combat tree is actually usable on all the other trees as well. So we have that tree growing from the forest and somewhere the tree having a crutch. On that crutch we will have multiple thick branches going away that will also have another crutch and then simply splits into thin branches. We will, for this video, take a closer look at that sword branch, on that thinny thought branch, so the broadsword, the claymore and the glaive. But as I said, you can simply put that on everything. You can put that on any other kind of armor, any kind of weapon, any kind of crafting unlock. It's basically the same. In addition to the progression we are seeing, like this horizontal progression from the broadsword to the claymore to the glaive, and like the unlocking of the actual next thing, we have also some kind of horizontal progression. That would be like 1 of 10, 2 of 10, up to 10 of 10. That's like the horizontal progression. I could now start telling you how it would work, but the view of the Destiny board is not making it easier to understand. Because of that, I used my matte paint skills to actually bring you some pictures that should just simply simplify the actual things. So for that we have this nice little picture, and this is basically the branch. Or you can call it category, you can call it class, whatever you like. This is like the thin branch, which are all the swords are up. The broadsword, the claymores and the glaives. So it's like the sword branch, the blade branch, whatever you want to call it. The sword category, sword blade category. Simply, it doesn't matter. I will use branch, like I will call it blade branch, just because I like blade branch. And yeah, what do you call it? It doesn't matter. Simply it's just the naming thing. So looking at that, we have our branch, and on those branches we have 3 towers. We have the tower of broadsword, we have the tower of claymore, and we have the tower of glaives. In those towers you will be learning how to use that specific weapon. You are here, like you're in the beginning of your journey, and you simply want to train your broadsword skills. So what are you actually doing? You have to get into the tower of broadswords. The problem here is that in front of each tower you have a guard, and in front of the broadsword tower we have the sword guard. And the problem with the sword guard is he simply has just 1 HP, but he's immune to all the damage but the damage from tier 3 broadswords. Means we have to use a tier 3 broadsword to fight him. As he has just 1 HP, it's just like a one hit, and we can simply enter the tower of broadswords. So before we continue on our path or on our branch, we are taking a closer look at the tower of broadswords. That's what the tower of broadsword is looking, at least in my mind. Simply, after you killed the tower guard, let's put that a little bit on this. After you killed the tower guard, you will have to fight your way through the tier 4 floor, and you have to fight all the way through the stairs, and those stairs are simply bringing you up to the tier 5 or the floor 5. Then you can climb through that small window thingy, and you can now enter the floor of tier 5. And again, on the floor 5 you have to fight against all the monsters that are in there to get to the steps, and so on. The tower itself continues tier 4, tier 5, tier 6, 7, 8. It's going above that 5.4, 6.4, 7.4, and 8.4, which would be the highest tier. So what you do, you simply start fighting, and eventually you will get to the stairs. However, there's one thing on that, and that is the learning points, which are coming into play here. After you kill like 1/4 of the floor, so 25%, there's a teleporter appearing. You could actually use that teleporter, paying LP, to be teleported directly from the position you are to the next floor. Plop, you would go out here and you could start grinding on floor 5. However, that will cost you LP, and currently, even after like some kind of fixing, LP will always be some kind of limited. So you might not want to spend your LP here, so you want to keep fighting. Good thing on that is, even while we have like 3/4 of the rest of the floor to clear, let's say you could use the teleporter for 100 LP when you killed 1/4 of the floor. But actually you're currently in some kind of area where you're the only person, nobody else is there, it's in 2 AM, whatever, and you're just having a good time, and you could grind and grind and grind. In that case, you would keep grinding. 3 hours later, you have killed like 50% of what was left on the floor. There is this next group, or there's a new group coming into your area, and you simply cannot compete against them. They're not attacking you, but they simply outfarm you, so you don't get any fame anymore. As you had killed 50% of what was left on the floor after the teleporter appeared, the costs to using the teleporter would also be halved. So instead of the 100 LP you would have to pay for the full transport when the teleporter appear, you now only have to pay 50 LP. And then you can simply zoom, bloop, and you're at the tier 5 or the floor 5. And then you would simply go on with the next floor and the next floor and the next floor and the next floor and so on. This would increase your ability with broadswords. So you're in the Tower of Broadswords, you keep training or fighting in the Tower of Broadswords, and you get way better with the broadsword handling, and you would increase the ability to wield broadswords. But now you say, hey, one-handed swords are cool, but what's cooler than a one-handed sword? Two-handed swords, exactly. And that would bring us back to the branch itself. As we have in front of the Tower of Claymores another guy, or another guard, that's a Claymore guard. We have also just 1 HP for him, but he's immune against all damage but the damage from tier 4 broadswords. So basically you would train in the Tower of Broadswords, you would be able to use tier 4 broadswords, and with the tier 4 broadsword you would be able to fight against the Claymore guard, and you would be able to enter the Tower of Claymores. And that's simply the same if you say, okay, a two-handed sword is cool, but a sword on a stick, that's even better. And then you would say, okay, I'm going to kill the Glaive Guard. Glaive Guard is again immune against all the damage, but this time he can be one-hitted with a tier 4.2 or with a tier 4 Claymore. So you just kill him and you can go into the Tower of Glaives. And that's simply how the vertical, or better said the horizontal progression is working. This can be simply used for all the crafting. How you unlock higher tiers of crafting for broadswords, but also how you unlock like the crafting of claymores or the crafting of glaives. It's in the whole forest on the whole Destiny boards, it's exactly the same. We have the horizontal and the vertical progression. Yeah, actually everybody is now, at least I hope everybody is like, I finally get it. Thank you really much for explaining this to me. No, I totally get it, but I have to disappoint you. That's not everything. The thing here is that you actually have a connection, and even if we have like this branch type thingy, like we have it here as well, let me just move so I don't log out. If we have this branch type thingy here, and we also have this horizontal progression in our picture, where is it? There it is. That's really easy to understand how the Destiny board is actually looking. Like if we look at that, you see it's the same. But actually, if you take a closer look and you would go from the front view to a top view and you would look down on those towers, they are sadly placed different. Oh, that's the wrong picture, I'm sorry. Fear my mad paint skills. This. They're actually placed in some kind of triangle. Let's put that a little bit further to that way so it's easier to see. You have a connection between all those towers in the triangle. So if you do something in the Tower of Claymores, that will take actions in the Tower of... if you do something in the Tower of Broadswords, that will do actions in the Tower of Claymore. And in the Tower of Glaives, if you do something in the Tower of Glaives, it will have actions on the Broadsword and on the Claymore Tower, and same goes for the Claymore Tower, but then Broadsword and the Glaives. We also have the guards here, you see, easy, you in the mid. But actually, that's really, really easy to explain and to understand. You could simply see it like the following thing. Every time, let's put it here, so it's looking nice, and then let's put it with the close-up tower. So, every time you clear a floor, like when we cleared the tier 4 floor, we get 2 badges. We get the broadsword badge, because we are currently in the Tower of Broadswords and we trained with broadswords, but we also get the blade badge, the blade branch badge, or the sword category, like whatever you want to call it, you get a badge for that specific branch, or for that specific category. And both are increasing your power. Like the broadsword badge is increasing the power when you use broadswords. It doesn't matter if the tier is higher or the tier is lower than the one you currently used to unlock the badge. All your weapons or all your broadswords will simply get stronger. The blade badge will not only have influence on the broadswords, but on all the weapons inside of the blade branch. So it will also have influence on the claymore and on the glaives. Simplified, that means every time you unlock a new floor, you get badges. You get the tower branch, like the tower badge, like the broadsword badge, which is increasing the power when you wield broadswords, and it is increasing the power while you wield any other weapon out of that sword category / of the blade branch. And this is true for everything. We have always the power, the weapon badge, and we have the category badge that's going to be given to you once you finish the floor. To give you some example, like if we just add all this up, we have 16 item power. We have like 10 by 16, and we have 10 multiplied by 8. So that's 80 item power we get from the blade badge. So that's 248 item power, and we got another 160 item power just from the one-handed sword, or the broadsword badge. Adding those up, 250, 160, we are on 400. Yeah, 400. That's 400 item power. Just to give you an idea what 400 item power is, we take a look at our Journeyman's Broadsword, which has 500 item power, because I currently have already unlocked some kind in the tower itself. That's 500 item power. That's 400 item power you get. 400 item power. That's tier 6. The tier 6 broadsword has the same item power than our tier 3 broadsword. Of course you have to, in that case you have to subtract the item power that the broadsword bench is giving you, so we just have simply 240 item power. But even 240 item power, that's tier 5. So basically unlocking all badges on all the towers, on all the weapons in that branch is increasing your item power by 2 tiers. So you basically can compete with your tier 3 broadsword against someone who is wielding a tier 5 broadsword. The guy with the tier 5 broadsword will be a little bit stronger than you when he just unlocked like all the broadswords, but he didn't fight with claymores and with glaives. So you will simply have 2 tiers worth of extra potential from those different trees. If you're using a tier 4 broadsword with the same item power and you have the same things unlocked while he only has unlocked the tier 5 broadsword, you're even 1 tier above him. Like with a tier 4 sword, you're actually fighting like a tier 6 broadsword fighter if he's just trained in broadswords. And this keeps going, like even if we look at the tier 6, 944 compared to the tier 8, 200, or a little bit more, to 220. So we always have this 2 tiers we actually get just from using the weapons or the items on that branch, and this is working with every branch. Let me just move. This is working with the helmets. You have also the heavy helmet badge and you have the leather helmet badge. This is working with bows. This is like working with every item. In terms of crafting, instead of item power, you are getting like crafting quality. So the items you are going to craft will have more base power, more base item power, so they are just stronger than like if you craft a tier 4 weapon. It's because you're like top tier crafter. The tier 4 weapon will still have more item power than a bad tier 5 sword, and that's not influenced by the quality. Like that's just something you simply get. Yeah, and that's simply it. Like that, this is easily showing why it's important to unlock everything on the branch, not just your broadsword. Because if you wouldn't do that, you would simply throw away potential. I hope you now understand how the Destiny board is working a little bit better. And if there are further questions, like if you didn't got something, just ask me in the comments below. And I will try to answer them. Thank you for watching, and see you again.